They say your children are your legacy. Mine looked me in the eyes, drained the savings I built with broken bones and long nights, and told me I was nothing but a burden. But what he didn't know was that a lifetime of sacrifice had also taught me how to fight back and win. My name is Harold. I'm 68 years old, a retired truck driver from a small town in Ohio. Most mornings you'll find me on my porch, coffee in hand, listening to old Merle Haggard tunes crackle through the radio. Life slowed down after I hung up my keys. My back aches, my hands stiffen in the cold, but I carry the quiet pride of a man who worked hard, paid his dues, and raised a son on his own after my wife passed. For years I believed the sacrifices were worth it, the long hauls, the missed Christmases, the lonely nights. I thought it was all for him, my boy Derek. But I learned too late that sometimes, the people you love most, will cut the deepest. I spent decades building a nest egg, about $120,000, to some that's not much, but to a man who scraped every dollar from hauling freight coast to coast, it was everything. My plan was simple. Keep enough for medical bills, and maybe buy a small fishing boat to enjoy my last years in peace. Derek, my only son, never shared that mindset. At 35 he was loud, flashy, careless with money, new trucks, nights out, always investing in some scheme that never paid off. One evening he sat across from me at my kitchen table, tapping his fingers impatiently. "Dad," he said, "what do you even need all that money for? You're almost done anyway. You should let me manage it, invest it, grow it. You can't take it with you." I stared at him, searching for the boy I once carried on my shoulders at county fairs, the boy I swore I'd never let down. "It's not about taking it with me, son," I said quietly. "It's about living with dignity while I'm still here." But Derek only rolled his eyes. "You wouldn't understand how the world works now. You're old. Things are different." I let it slide, biting my tongue, my heart heavy, but a whisper inside me warned, silence isn't the same as weakness. Weeks later I logged into my account and froze. The numbers didn't make sense. My balance, wiped clean, every cent of my savings gone. I called Derek in a panic. His voice on the other end was cold, casual. "Relax, Dad. I moved the money. I'm handling it. You don't need it." My chest tightened. "Derek, that was my life savings." He cut me off, almost laughing. "You're old. You don't need money. You should be grateful I'm even taking care of this for you. Stop acting like a victim. You're just a burden." That word, burden, hit harder than any accident I'd survived on the road. My own son, the boy I raised, had stolen not just my money, but my dignity. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. My hands shook as I set the phone down, my world crumbling in silence. But grief hardened into resolve. I had been underestimated my whole life. People thought truck drivers were simple men, but decades on the road had taught me patience, strategy, and how to keep moving forward when every mile feels impossible. So I began quietly gathering the pieces, bank records, emails, every reckless receipt Derek left in his wake. I contacted an old buddy from the trucking union, now a financial lawyer. Together we built a case. I didn't tell Derek. I let him believe I was broken, defeated. He thought age had made me powerless, but what he didn't realize, age had made me dangerous. Derek flaunted his theft like a trophy. He bought a brand new pickup, posted pictures at bars with his money, bragged about deals he barely understood. Online he looked untouchable. Meanwhile he ignored my calls. When he did answer, his words cut like knives. "Stop bothering me, Dad. You're dead weight. Enjoy your retirement, without stressing about money." But behind the curtain my case was growing airtight. Paper trails don't lie. My lawyer filed charges under elder financial abuse. Every day I stayed silent, Derek grew cockier, and every day I grew stronger. The showdown came at a church fundraiser, our town's biggest event of the year. Derek strolled in, puffed up like a rooster, handing out checks with my stolen money. Folks clapped, believing he was generous. I walked in quietly, folder in hand. My heart thudded, but my voice was steady as I stepped to the podium. "Before you cheer my son, I said. You ought to know whose pockets that money came from. Gasps rippled as I laid out the documents, withdrawals, signatures, receipts. I handed copies to the pastor, the sheriff, and the lawyer standing by my side. Derek's face drained of color. He's old, he doesn't understand. Derek stammered. But I met his eyes, my voice cutting clear through the silence. I may be old, son, but I know the difference between love and theft, and you stole more than my money, you stole my trust. The sheriff placed a hand on Derek's shoulder as the crowd stared in shock. My boy who once thought himself untouchable was let out in handcuffs while the same community he mocked applauded my stand. In the weeks that followed, Derek faced charges, the courts froze his assets, friends distanced themselves. The man who once called me a burden was now the one cast aside. I sat on my porch one evening, the sky painted gold by the setting sun. My savings would be restored, but the real victory wasn't in the bank, it was in reclaiming my dignity. I thought back on the miles I drove, the storms I weathered, the sacrifices I made, hard work, integrity, loyalty. Those were the values that built this country, values no one, not even my own blood, could strip from me. To anyone listening, don't let anyone make you feel small because of your age. We are not burdens. Our years are our strength, our wisdom, and our proof that we've survived what others can't even imagine. And if you've faced betrayal, remember this: justice may be slow, but it comes to those who stand tall. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your stories of resilience, heartbreak, or late life justice, because age doesn't make us useless, it makes us unstoppable.